Every year since 1989, the Library of Congress has selected 25 films to add to the National Film Registry. The criteria? The films must be culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
Each week on You're Missing Out, we take a look at one of these films to try and get to the heart of why they were selected and why they still matter.
Hey everybody, we are here. We are recording the Season 5 finale, which has
only been a week since we recorded Sweet Smell of Success.
We can't do the Strait of Hormuz bit again.
Well, I wasn't going to do the Strait of Hormuz bit. I was going to do I was going to do the Strait of Hormuz.
You were going to do the Strait because you just enjoy saying the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, I can only talk about Israel so much.
We'll timestamp this correctly. We are recording this jovial Season 5 finale on what I would say is the tensest day of our lives in a good long while.
Why would you say that? Is anything going on in the world today that might make things a little upsetting to folks?
I don't know, Tom. Ask me in 31 minutes.
Yeah, we're recording this at 7:29 p.m.
Oh, right. He said 8 Eastern.
On a night where somebody threatened war crimes. It's real bad. The vibes are, in fact, terrible.
They are not immaculate.
No. But let's focus on the year that was, the season that was. If this is your first time listening, weird choice. But this is how we do things. Whenever we wrap up a season, we take a look back at the films we watched. In this case, we had to take a real long look back because we recorded some of these ages ago.
Over a year ago.
Oh, my God. In any event, what we're going to do here is we're going to start by answering some kind of questions. We're going to talk things through. We also kind of give out our little awards. We kind of take the Oscar categories and award them just amongst the 25 films we watched this year. We do a winner and a runner-up. So we'll talk through that. Then we'll talk about what films we submitted to the National Film Registry. These, honestly, if you listened to our Recklessly Speculating on the Registry YouTube exclusive special, you already know what we submitted this year. But whatever. This is what we're going to do. We're going to tell you what we submitted at the end of the season. And then we're going to close out by talking about what we have to look forward to next season. How are you guys feeling? How does it feel to finally be done with Season 5 of the show?
It's really nice. It's finally good to be done edging and finally just straight up goon.
God damn it.
I mean, really, like this pod is just blue ball central. I mean, just got 2 Smurfs hanging in my pants.
Okay. Kyle, please tell me you have any thoughts that aren't that.
My dick is still normal colored.
I'm grateful we could finally land the plane. It's been a long time coming. Sully or flight, depending on,
Oh, I'm going to be flying tonight.
There you go. But yeah, just glad to finally give the people what they have been dying for months. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your loyalty. Glad y'all are watching the stuff that we've been dropping in the last couple of months. You said if they watched your Recklessly Speculating. A lot of people did. I think we got a couple hundred views. It was, I think, in 2 parts. So, the fans were hungry for y'all's speculations. So congratulations.
Well, without further ado, I'm going to pose some questions. Unless, Kyle, you want to be the one to pose the questions. It's up to you. I don't know how you want to arrange it.
I can, yeah. I'll MC for
all right.
Let's see. So, gentlemen, let me ask you the question as we always do during the finale. What's your favorite first-time viewing?
So, as in, like, a movie we saw for the first time because... Well, I'm just clarifying for this. First-time viewing can mean we watched it for this show, right? It doesn't have to mean, like, we didn't watch it before the podcast, just more like this was on the list, so,
First-time viewing?
Yes.
First-time viewing for the show.
Yes. Yeah. That's...
All right.
Yeah.
Mike, what is your favorite movie you watched for the first time for this season of the show? I'm going to assume that pool is small, but either way, answer me.
Lassie Come Home.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't see that before this season of the show?
I had seen other Lassies. Like I had seen the Lassie
Oh,
TV
well.
show. I think I'd seen the '90s Lassie, but I'd never seen the original Lassie Come Home, and that allowed me to dive into the other Lassie films, which, as you might recall, Tom, I know you don't remember much from the episodes we do, but there's no way you've forgotten the image of Lassie on the boat for D-Day.
Oh, I mean,
I refuse to believe
who could forget?
that
Who
has
could
escaped your
forget?
brain.
That dog. That dog is more patriotic and less authoritarian than most of Americans today. That dog
Yeah.
rules.
So
Unlike
yeah,
most Americans who drool.
Lassie Come Home was my favorite first time viewing.
Um, this was tough for me. It was kind of like a three-way tie, but I'm gonna go with this one because it feels indicative of my growth on this show and a specific genre that I've become more favorable towards. I'm gonna pick An American in Paris as my favorite first time viewing. Um, you know, enjoying musicals more. Gene Kelly has definitely helped that out a bit, a good deal. Who would have thought if you merged James Caan and Seth MacFarlane into one guy who could dance, I'd be into that. But it worked. Good job, God, on that one. Bad job on everything in 2026, but you got that one right. So yeah, American in Paris. I really dug that movie.
I'll throw my favorite in there. It was
No!
one that. Yes! I will shout out the show that I took the wheel for this season, and shout out The Black Pirate. I'm very notorious for not seeing a lot of my black and white classics, early silent films and whatnot, and to see so much, I love to kind of see what came before and see the DNA and the evolution of the moving image and how it's influenced our modern day blockbuster and whatnot. So, and how I love the opportunity to talk about pirates. So yeah, The Black Pirate was a real treat. What was your most enjoyable rewatch? Meaning a movie I imagine you had seen before, but then had to rewatch for the show.
Um, this one was easy for me. It was The Godfather 2. It's an important part of any Italian's fucking cinematic heritage. Um, and it's a movie that's just a part of my DNA, and it feels like it's always on, but neither of the Godfathers. We're not counting Godfather 3. That doesn't count. Do over, please. But they're always on, but you never really sit down to watch them because they're so long, and and at least for me, I don't want to like burn it out in my system. I want to just always enjoy it every time I sit down to rewatch it. And with that like sort of cable viewing thing where when you watch it so many times on cable or it's always on in the background, when you finally sit down to rewatch it, you kind of get little surprises of things you forgot or things you've missed whenever it's on TV, things like that. So and just it's The Godfather 2. It's just one of those movies. So just being able to sit down, rewatch it, think about it critically for the first time in a long time, and then get to talk about it was enjoyable mostly.
For me, it was Shane. I always liked Shane, but as we kind of got into on that episode, like a lot of it resonated with me in a different way now. Some of that was reading the book. Some of that was kind of clicking into the context of when the movie was made and how it's more about soldiers coming home from war than the Old West. And some of that I think was just it's just age, right? Or being in a certain place in my life. But it's always a movie I liked, but this revisit of it just became a very special movie to me and unlocked something new for me this time around. So I was very happy to get to revisit Shane.
Good
For
pick.
me, it was probably One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I saw that for the first time in high school, and I loved the ensemble then. It's definitely one of the kind of first movies I realized like I've gone back and had one opinion of when I like initially saw it, and now having lived a life, maybe double a life since my first viewing of it and whatnot, it was very, very different takeaways, but still love those performances, love the tension. Still a movie that I can, find some joy in despite the very dark themes in that film. So yeah, if you could go back in time and watch one of these movies in theaters when it debuted, which would it be? I guess in this case, presuming that they were all able to be premiered and or seen in a theater.
I guess I'll take this one first. A Night at the Opera. I actually had, when I was first sketching these out forever ago, I had a different answer, which was Point of Order, because of how it was presented and hearing about what it's like to see that on a big screen. But having gone, I think after seeing The Naked Gun in theaters and having, forgetting, because it's been so long since we've had, overt theatrical comedies, and forgetting how great it is to sit in a theater and just laugh and, everybody just enjoy this raucous, silly nonsense. It felt so good that I'm like, it must have been incredible to sit in a theater for a new Marx Brothers movie. That must have been transcendent. So, Night at the Opera for me. I wish I could have been there when that premiered.
Not a bad answer. For me, it was kind of there was only one option for me really, and it's Blade Runner. I think of all the movies on the list this season, it's really the only one that I would say is the most groundbreaking, forward moving, pushing cinema into an entirely new direction. We still can't get sci-fi movies that don't have the stink of Blade Runner on it. Every single sci-fi movie has been touched in the last 40 years, almost 50 years at this point, by Blade Runner. And I imagine being able to see that opening weekend with an open mind and not like everybody else that year who was just like, ew, a sci-fi movie that's not fun. It's the 80s. We need to do coke and bust unions. Going into that movie with an open mind and just seeing the future, not just the movie itself, but what cinema is going to become after this, must have been just truly absolutely mind-bending stuff. So for me, it's Blade Runner with with bells on, just no questions asked.
I share your sentiment, Tom. I was between that and Godfather Part 2. I'm continuing to have debates regularly about the types of movies that, you should see in a theater, movies that still are good if you can watch them, on your television or on your iPhone or whatever. And, in a world where those aren't the options and where, your local theater is where you're going to see these and everything, I would just be so fascinated to know in real time how people were reacting to it. If it was as big as, when we get hyped for, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, or if, it was kind of like this slow burn, people had to talk about it. You didn't necessarily kind of have that excitement or everything like that, but we kind of take it for granted now and consider it, a staple or an icon. So, yeah, I'd be curious for those opening premieres. We're going to shift into our award category. I'm going to take a step back here. We're going to do it in the order that they are presented in. So we are going to start with Best Actor. Who wants to start with the Best Actor category?
Yeah, why don't we...
or do you want to shake it up and do an Amanda special?
I'll kick off Best Actor, but we'll... we love you.
I remember her doing that.
Yeah, there we go. I'll go first. I'll go first for Best Actor, and then Tom, you go first for the next category, and back and forth. Sound good?
Well, yeah, that's what we've been doing.
I know.
We've been rotating.
So I'll say this: my Best Actor winner, because I have a winner, and we do winners and runners up now. My Best Actor winner, Sishu Hayakawa for The Cheat.
Okay.
What a! It really a case of and we talked about it when Jay was on here. Absolutely you hear about this guy and you hear like he was one of the biggest stars in the world, and you watch him in this movie and you go, I get it. Like I get how this guy was a movie star. And I was so taken by it, so impressed by it. My runner-up is Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is, of course, a phenomenal performance. No taking away from that, right? Like, that McMurphy is an iconic character. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal performance. But I just wanted to give a little tip of the hat to Sishu Hayakawa. So that's my winner and runner-up.
Yeah, I mean, some of these fucking categories are really fucking hard, man. This one I really think in particular, like I'm just a little peek behind my curtain. Yes, it curves. Is I just listed like 4 or 5 of my picks, and like I was like, all right, I'm gonna think in the moment who is the best, and I'm just looking at it. I'm just like, fuck, who do I pick? So I'm just gonna go with my gut here, and I'm gonna say Pacino in Godfather 2. It's a titanic performance. It really just spans the whole range of the human experience. I think the flashback at the end where they get the whole family together really goes to show you the journey that Michael's been on. That if you hadn't seen the first one, like right before you walked into Godfather 2, you might forget like the humanity that he brought to Michael in the beginning scenes, like at the wedding and whatnot, and the general degradation of his humanity, which is even furthered in the second one. And seeing that flashback sequence just makes you remember, like, oh, this guy used to be a human, and we just went on this epic journey of seeing how he became everything wrong with America, basically, and how immigrant families and their children are just the children and then their children's children just make everything worse. And that's why we have Irish and Italian people that vote for Trump. I'm going to give my runner up to Gene Kelly in American in Paris. Love that guy. He's a guy. He's just a dude being a guy in Paris, an American in Paris, you might say. Just an absolutely charming, winning performance. Fucking Nicholson in Cuckoo's Nest, Tony Curtis in Sweet Smell of Success, Ivan Dixon in Nothing But a Man. There's just some fucking like, what do you even do? What do you like? Give me a 20-sided die, and I like that's basically what we got here. I don't know. Next
up, we got the Best Actress category.
All right, this one's another difficult one. I actually found this one hard when I was going through all of this, but I'm gonna have to give it to Rosalind Russell for His Girl Friday. Iconic performance. It's how many screwball comedies, fast talking comedies have there been since this? Be it in the movies in the immediate aftermath of this movie, or more so on TV nowadays. You look at like a 30 Rock or something, and how many people are able to live up to the high speed, high octane dialogue and comedic timing you have to live up to in this performance. And she just nails it. And in many ways, she kind of takes Cary Grant to the fucking cleaners in this movie. Like, this is her movie, and it's just she's incredible. I mean, just absolutely incredible. My runner-up, my direct runner-up would be Simone Smith for Cat People. I think that's a movie that is easy to lose track of the performances in a movie that's so heavily visuals based, or in this movie's case, lack thereof with regards to the visuals. But she brings just such a wounded, delicate, tragic humanity to this character that I think is something to behold. You got special shout outs to Leslie Caron, American in Paris, Sissy Spacek in Badlands, and Claudette Colbert in It Happened One Night. But yeah, those are my picks.
So my winner is Claudette Colbert, It Happened One Night. Basically, I hate to say ditto on this, but like so much of what Tom said for Rosalind Russell and His Girl Friday can also be said for Claudette Colbert in It Happened One Night, right? In terms of just the influence and the legacy in the DNA, like, the spunky gal in the rom-com that Claudette Colbert, sets off for decades and decades. Just an incredible performance. She's so good in that movie. My runner-up, Lillian Gish in The Wind.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a big Lillian Gish fan. In terms of like, I do just think, again, in a lot of cases, these kind of old silent film actors, you kind of go like, well, they were doing their best for the time, but I do find her an incredibly compelling performer. And I think that movie relies on her to act in a way that like most performers of that time would not have been capable of. I think she holds that movie down, and she is what makes that such a special film. So Lillian Gish is my runner-up.
Next up, we have the Best Supporting Actor category.
Okay, this was... I don't even want to say it was challenging so much as I want to say like the literal coin toss I had to do between the winner and the runner-up. Because maybe Tom will say something different, but I feel like there were two obvious contenders here, and it's just who wins out of two of the most iconic supporting performances in film history happened in our season this year. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to give my winner to Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. Again, it's an incredible performance. We talked enough about it on the episode. And my runner-up, Robert De Niro in The Godfather Part 2. But really, like, flip of a coin there to me.
Yeah, my winner is Rutger Hauer for Blade Runner. We talk about it a lot when in this show. Iconography has to come into account in some regard, and Roy Batty is just one of the most iconic performances of all time. One of the most iconic sci-fi performances. One of the most iconic performances of the '80s. It's just something special. It's almost unbeatable. But this was hard. But it is funny because my coin flip in terms of iconic supporting performances is my runner-up is Orson Welles in Touch of Evil. Just greasy little fat bastard just running around the border of Mexico and Texas, just being a real shit. Just an absolutely iconic performance from the guy, and it was hard for me to pick, but Rutger Hauer kind of just inched by it. But you also got to give shout outs to Cary Grant and His Girl Friday, John Cazale in The Godfather Part 2, and Burt Lancaster in Sweet Smell of Success.
Next up, we have Best Supporting Actress.
So this one wasn't hard for me, because it's Louise Fletcher in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You're talking about iconic. She was so iconic that Ryan Murphy and his syphilitic brain decided he needed to try to capture that iconography on a Netflix show that doesn't exist. It's just, she is an immensely hateable woman, but Louise Fletcher is able to somehow find some sort of humanity to this character that, without ever really sanding off the edges, it's an incredible balancing act she does. And it's just it's something to behold. I mean, really, I just look at her career after it, and the fact that she was never able to escape this role, basically, and she kind of just puttered along until she passed away. Nurse Ratched, man, it's something to behold. And my runner-up is Sean Young from Blade Runner. I mean, again, you talk about iconography. That look is just, something, like everything in that movie. The look, you could just say the look, and you go, right, it's Blade Runner. The look is everything. But she brings the heart and humanity to the robots and adds to the ambiguity of the story of, what makes us human, who's human, are the humans even human anymore, all of this. And she complicates a lot of this. Her and Rutger Hauer do a lot of the Lord's work in terms of bringing the necessary humanity to this thing. Since Ridley Scott is not good at directing actors, they had to do the heavy lifting. So yeah, those are my picks.
So I'm not going to talk about Louise Fletcher because I would put her in lead actress. So that's the reason I mean that's what she won the Oscar for.
Yeah, but we've how many times have we talked about category
Oh,
fraud on this show?
I don't disagree. But I'm just like she won best actress for it. In my head, I think she's on screen enough and she's in it enough to be a lead actress. His mama called him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. So my best supporting actress.
No nothing.
My best supporting actress category is a little tough for me. I'll be honest. But my best supporting actress winner is Jean Arthur in Shane. We talked about it on the episode, but like everything about what she was doing in that movie really hit for me this time. She had a lot to have to convey in that movie without having a lot of dialogue to convey it. And I think she does an extraordinary job. And my runner-up is a young upstart. I'm planting my flag. Sometimes you give a nomination to somebody like, they nominated like Quvenzhané Wallis or Jennifer Lawrence. These younger actors where you're like, I'm planting my flag and I'm saying this person, I think they got the goods. And I'm doing that here. My runner-up is this young girl named Elizabeth Taylor in Lassie Come Home. I think she's real good in the picture for the role that she has. I think there's something there. I think there's a future in that kid. I think there's some possibilities there.
Hey, it's a bold choice. Also, who did you pick as your winner? I was like looking away for a second.
Jean Arthur and Shane.
Ah, yes, correct. Okay, very good.
Next up, Best Director.
Fuck.
So it sounds like Tom had a hard time, and there might be a part of him that's thinking, well, maybe Mike will pick one of the guys that I don't pick as my winner, and we could spread the wealth. But I'm going to throw a curveball here. My Best Director winner, and I have no qualms about this at all, is Les Blanc for Chulas Fronteras.
Okay.
I mean, when you think about, we both really enjoyed that documentary. There's no surprise there, but it's also a case of like,
yeah, we did record it last week.
Yeah, we could, But when you think about it, right, like Chulas Fronteras is a great example of a thing that I look at. My standard when I'm judging Best Director is I often go, and obviously it's a documentary, but my standard is often like, if you had the same actors, you had the same script, you had the same cinematographer and everything, does the movie still work with somebody else in the chair? Now, obviously we're talking about a documentary, but still the same subject matter, the same setting, the same access. Nobody makes that movie like Les Blanc does. That movie is so much more typical without his involvement. And I just think, getting to really dive into the Les Blanc filmography and prep for that episode gave me a new appreciation for the man, and I want to give him his flowers here. And my runner-up, George Stevens for Shane. I can't stress enough how much that movie just unlocked a new level for me this time around. And again, I wanted to I think part of it too is like, we have a lot of heavy hitters this season. We've got Coppola, we've got Milos Forman, we've got Ridley Scott, you got all these names. I kind of wanted to give a little bit of love to the directors who don't quite get that same level of film Twitter adoration. So that's where I landed.
So for me, in similar thinking with if this person didn't make it and someone else did, would it be the same? You kind of have to think about that. I also think about just the actual directing itself. Sometimes you, not to take shots at some of these movies, but some of these movies, great movies, incredibly directed movies, but they almost feel like, well, yeah, this is how you make this, that like where there's no other way. And sometimes there's a movie that comes along that just nobody was making movies like that. That you don't even think about making movies this way. Just finding a new avenue into something, and that's why for me, I'm picking Jacques Tourneur for Cat People. Um, this may be the most directed movie on the list because so much of this movie is predicated on what he is doing with the camera, with the acting, with the directing, what he's not able to show, and how he's using what he's not able to show to his benefit. It's sort of miraculous work, and he sort of made that a staple of his career, at least in the horror field, especially the Val Newton stuff. I think you got to give Jacques Tourneur his flowers here. So that's my pick. But for runner up, uh, game changing, forward thinking, all of this, Ridley Scott for Blade Runner. It changed the world. Only reason it gets slightly inched out is that he is an idiot, doesn't understand his own movie, and was bested by Denis Villeneuve with the sequel. So little slight ding there, but yeah. Jacques Tourneur 1, Ridley Scott 2. That's my picks. Next
up, best cinematography.
Oi, another one. Some real heavy hitters here, man. Fuck. It's Blade Runner. What else are we doing here? It's Blade Runner. It's Mike will take the reins on some of these tech things to talk about other things that are not being run across a blade. But I'm the normie. I'm the populist guy. It's fine. Blade Runner. Like come on, it's Blade Runner. My runner up is Sweet Smell of Success. Being one of the earliest, at least mainstream movies to be filming on location and just getting that gorgeous New York 50s just look is it's just incredible. Only bested by Ridley Scott and company deciding to just put their entire fucking weight on it and change the world, So there you go.
Well, Tom said it's Blade Runner. What else is there to say? A lot. I don't have Blade Runner in my cinematography category at all. So
that's because you're a whore, but it's fine.
No. I just want to. I want to say, like, for me, like, my choice is such a very different thing. My winner for best cinematography is An American in Paris. That is just such a visually striking film. Its use of color, its use of scope. It makes you yearn to see it on a big screen. And my runner-up is Touch of Evil.
Yeah.
You got to give it up to that tracking shot. You got to give it up to that look. I mean, weirdly, like, a lot of the things Tom was saying in favor of Blade Runner are things I feel about American in Paris, and a lot of things Tom was saying about Sweet Smell of Success fit how I feel about Touch of Evil. The two very different kinds of cinematography that I think are very, very effective. So those are my picks for cinematography.
Next up, best screenplay.
Okay, best screenplay. And we don't do adapted and original here because it just would get too complicated. Again, this is not dissimilar to what I was saying about supporting actor, where it's a real coin toss. My winner, I'm going to say, is His Girl Friday. My runner-up is It Happened One Night. You could easily swap those two in so many senses, but like those are just two crackling crackerjack screenplays. Those are two scripts that like everybody that writes scripts aspires to be able to do. I know they're very similar, and very often I kind of will try and go like, well, I went this way here, I'll go this way here, but it's like those two are so close. They're so tied for this number one spot that I'm like, let me just slot them both in. So those are my screenplay picks. So
for me, best screenplay is Sweet Smell of Success. It gets lost in the visuals and the satire that you just how well crafted this script is. We talked about it in the episode that we recorded last week. I'm not even joking. We actually recorded it last week. about how hard it is to craft a story like that, where it's set in a limited amount of time. They just throw you in, and you have to figure out who these characters are, what their deal is. You're not getting typical hero's journey stuff or little divergences to meet family members or whatnot to humanize them and whatever. It's just build up, payoff is just something to behold in sweet smell of success. And I'm going to give some love to His Girl Friday as well as my runner up. Um, Having seen the front page, at least the Billy Wilder version he did with Mathau and Lemon, like, in the 70s. Maybe not the best version of it, but getting the sense of what that story was and what they did to it and the changes that were made by making it about a romantic couple and not just two guys that are, work together, is just a stroke of genius. And yeah, it's a great script. There you go. Next.
Before you move on, Kyle, can I deliver some real-time news for Tom?
Oh, God damn it. What?
Yes.
There is reports coming out that the U.S. and Iran have agreed to a 2-week ceasefire.
Okay.
Details include the 2-week pause is subject to Iran agreeing to the, quote, complete, immediate, and safe reopening of the Strait of Hormuz.
The Strait of Hormuz.
The Strait
of Hormuz.
Hormuz is open, Tom. The Strait of Hormuz is open.
I mean, I wish I had a cigar. Because, baby, the Strait of Hormuz is back.
It's back and better than ever.
It's back and straighter than ever. They sent that shit to conversion therapy.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
I mean,
okay.
So what's the next category, Kyle?
Next category, best editing.
Okay, so best editing I am going to give to Badlands. I think so much of the power of Malik's cinema is in the editing. And as seen in later Malikian projects, aka stuff he made after the Tree of Life, where he kind of gets lost in the sauce. You realize that the editing tricks he was doing 40 years earlier than shit like the Knight of Cups or whatever was really immaculate and delicate, especially on a movie like Badlands or on Days of Heaven, when he was still capable of making a movie that was less than like 3 hours long. It's just elliptical, magical, poetic, just really just transportative editing that really makes Badlands pure cinema. That you could read about Charles Starkweather in tons of articles. You can listen to Bruce Springsteen sing about him, but watching this narrative unfold in this way, this lyrical way that only Malik can do, really goes to show what it's just a testament to the power of the editing in this movie. And my runner up is going to be An American in Paris, because it's a musical and Minnelli is great at the musical, and this one is really good at being a musical. Shocker. So and a good editing job helps a lot, as we can attest, having lived through the entire career of Tom Hooper or Rob Marshall. If you don't edit your musical well, you are fucked. So yeah, those are my picks.
So my pick for best editing is the movie that most it's all editing. It's all it is in the best way. I think inarguably best editing this year has to go to Point of Order. What it does, how it makes this propulsive narrative out of all this footage. Again, as we talked about, essentially a found footage movie, if you will. Like it just an extraordinary work and a real testament to what you can do with this kind of footage. What you can do just through editing to make something propulsive. And my runner-up is Cat People. Because as Tom indicated before, like it's a movie about what you don't see. It's a movie about tone. It's a movie about vibe. It's a movie about energy. And that all comes down to the editing on this. This is not an effects movie. This is not what's happening on camera, it's what's happening off, and the editing contributes to that so well of creating that tension and that momentum. So that is my runner-up.
Next up, best original song.
Well, not quite, unless Tom pulled that out, because I think I might have noted in the document. Weird thing, I don't know if you guys noticed this year, no original songs.
Oh, I didn't see the note. I just never pay attention to this
That's
category.
fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm looking
so-
at the old.
so
I'm looking
there's-
at the old doc. Then
Yeah,
I
there's
apologize.
so a crazy thing. I mean, I guess I'd have to do some digging. Maybe there's like an original song in A Night at the Opera. But when you think about the musicals we covered this season, Yankee Doodle Dandy and American in Paris, they're all older songs, right? American in Paris is all pre-existing George Gershwin tunes. Yankee Doodle Dandy is pre-existing George M. Cohan tunes. And there's really not an original song in there, and therefore I would like to take my best original song award and give it to Tom Lorenzo for the fake Dean Martin theme song to Sweet Smell of Success that he performed on our Sweet Smell of Success episode. So that's what I'd like to. Yes, you did. You made up you said, because I was telling you I thought it was a comedy when I was a kid, and you're like, it does seem like the kind of movie that would have a Dean Martin theme song, and then just improvised a Dean Martin Sweet Smell of Success jaunty tune, and I'd like to give that the award.
Jesus Christ, something's wrong with me. Yeah, honestly, I don't even think I told you when we recorded the episode, literally last week, that the Dean Martin thing was in my head because like a few days before I watched the Western he did called 5 Card Stud, and he does the theme song called 5 Card Stud, and most of the song is just him going 5 Card Stud. And I'm just like, this is literally the kind of shit Mel Brooks is making fun of in Blazing Saddles. So once you started going on that thing about thinking it was a comedy, I was like, oh, because it would just have him do Sweet Smell of Success. Yeah, I don't know. It's great.
All right.
I'm an idiot.
What's the next category, Kyle?
Next category, best original score.
Are you Tom? Do you want to go first, or do you want to just say it together? Unless somehow. Oh well, no. Actually, never mind. I take that back. There are some other contenders. Never mind. Go say your thing.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, okay, it is Blade Runner. All right, good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
All
I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't say Godfather 2 because it's not an original score.
Yeah.
And there's some of these things where it's like an American in Paris. Are these like, is this based on things? I didn't look it up. Touch of Evil, maybe. I don't know. Runner up, Touch of Evil, sure.
My runner up is Sweet Smell of Success.
There you go. That's my actual runner up. There we go.
Ding, easy. Next up, best costume design.
So my winner is An American in Paris. That is just, I mean, it should win best costume design just for the sequence where Leslie Caron is in all those different costumes, like doing the little ballet sequence, the dream sequence. Alone, it should win best costume for that. But my God, the looks in that movie are just incredible. What a beautiful looking film. And my runner-up, in a similar vein, is Yankee Doodle Dandy. Because again, you really just had to create some visually dynamic costumes in that. And yeah, I mean, I own a straw boater hat because of that movie. So that's my runner-up.
Well, there is no accounting for taste, so there you go. Yeah, best costume design. Say it, Bart Simpson meme. Say
The Wind.
Blade Runner. But my runner-up is An American in Paris. Gorgeous movie, looks great. The costumes are stunning. Another Leslie Caron movie that I'm going to start just banging on the doors of Warner Brothers and being like, hey, 4K, when? Now, give it to me. Gigi and American in Paris. Give me the fucking 4Ks already.
Of all
Dude,
the things,
you know what's getting a 4K? You know what's getting a 4K deluxe box set with like a thick booklet.
Monkey Bone?
Faces of Death.
I don't think we need that.
A movie that to this day my dad believes is a real snuff film, and that's basically the crux of the remake. Is that it was so, even to this day, until Vinegar Syndrome decided to make a 4K, people just thought, oh right, that movie that was like a snuff film in the 70s that was popular, because where else were you watching it? Not regularly played on cable.
So the new Faces of Death is just Blair Witch 2ing it?
Yeah, it's about a guy. It's about how social media allows us to just watch murder videos all the time. So a guy's like, well, I want to make Faces of Death real.
I don't. What's the next category, Kyle? I want to get off the Faces of Death.
Next category, best art direction.
Well, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Okay, yeah. So that's that. My runner-up's in American in Paris.
I'm gonna go with Cat People.
Okay.
I mean, again, like we said, the visuals and the minimalism, but there's also a real like strong sense of like almost gothic sensibility to it. That's like a clear forerunner to what like Burton and Gilliam would end up doing. So, yeah.
Sure. My counter argument is it's an American in Paris.
Hey, listen, it's a good one, but I you said it. I want to talk about my kitty cat people.
That's fine. Kyle, why don't you read us the last category so that we can waste our time by pretending we don't know what we're gonna say for this? Well, we don't know what we're gonna say for the runners up. So, but anyway,
our final category, best visual effects.
Nothing but a man.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. So yeah, Blade Runner, obviously, there's no argument there. But I'm curious about runner-ups, Tom. What did you pick for your runner-up?
I actually don't know, honestly, because so many of these, I guess you would have to think of visual effects in a different way, of like matte paintings and whatnot. And I guess you'd have to sort of put like costume design and like shooting on locate or shooting in a studio as part of the visual effects for some of these. So I guess I'm saying an American in Paris.
I go with The Wind.
Oh, there you go. That's a good choice.
You know what the visual effect is in that? Wind.
Look at that, M. Night. You could do that and make it effective. You fucking hack.
So that's those are our winners this year. Those are our winners this year. Let's talk about what we submitted to the National Film Registry this year. Tom, you could just go to the spreadsheet.
I know. I'm. It's still just I have to read.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read off mine, so it'll buy you time. This is not gonna be in episode release order, so don't try and map one onto the other. I can't wait to remember what I submitted this year. So let's talk about it. What I submitted to the National Film Registry this year: Red Hot Riding Hood, Animal Crackers, Fight Club, Tron, Better Luck Tomorrow, The Virgin Suicides, Yellow Submarine, Ride the Pink Horse, Diner, Midnight Run, RoboCop, Bunny, The Blob, You Killed Me First, Gene the Matchmaker, Der Fuhrer's Face, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Muppet Vision 3D, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Legally Blonde, Tribulation 99, Bound for Glory, The Last Dragon, Nirvana Unplugged in New York, and Wall Street.
And for me, I picked The Mask, Caddyshack, The Last Detail, Dark City, Diary of a Mad Housewife, Oleana, Before Sunrise, Devil in a Blue Dress, There's Always Vanilla, Starman, Mad Max Fury Road, The Devil's Rejects, The Witch, True Romance, Best in Show, Fox News' First Day of Broadcast. Of all the... How I picked the most obtuse, obscure one is beyond me. Evil Dead 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Captain Phillips, After the Thin Man, The Majestic, Walk Hard, Friday, Some Kind of Monster, and Nightcrawler.
And with that, fellas, let's look ahead at next season. I hope everybody enjoyed season 5, the longest season we've ever done, the most hiccupy season we've ever done, and also my last season as a bachelor. So whenever we do
hey, don't jinx yourself.
last season as a bachelor so far, in the words of Homer Simpson. But let's talk about season 6. Let's talk about what we've got lying ahead. So you fellas, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the films we're doing next season in season 6. And then, as you guys know, there were 2 questions for you guys to answer at the end. If you want to say how many of them you've seen, by all means, you can take that count too. But we're going to talk about what you're most excited for and intrigued by. So let's talk about what season 6 has in store. We have the hugely influential adventure film, The African Queen. We get to talk about one of the coolest Best Picture wins of all time, 1960's The Apartment. We're going to talk about Shirley Clark's docudrama, The Cool World, a very underseen film that I'm really excited to talk about. There's some Frederick Wiseman involvement in The Cool World, too. Frederick Wiseman recently passed away, R.I.P. We're going to talk D.W. Griffith's A Corner in Wheat, one of his short films that I think isn't racist. So, you know, good on you for that one, D.W. We are, of course, going to talk about E.T. the Extraterrestrial, an episode we have had a guest booked for since this show started, and it's going to be quite the journey for me on that one. We are, in theory, going to talk about The Exploits of Elaine, one of the most important film serials of all time. And if when I say we're hopefully going to talk about it, that's because it's hard to find. I have only tracked down a few of the episodes. I'm not sure where the rest of them are. So how we're going to watch this is going to be very interesting. We might have to
Strait of Hormuz.
We might have to physically go somewhere to watch it. So let's see how that goes. Oh, man. Folks, let me tell you, you know where Tom doesn't want to go? Rochester.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I'm like, I still haven't tracked it down fully, but like the only leads I have are it might be at the actual Library of Congress in DC, or it might be at the Eastman Museum in Rochester. We are also going to talk about Force of Evil, the film noir. We're going to talk about Freaks, the great Todd Browning horror film. We're going to talk about, sincerely, one of my favorite Westerns now, which is the William S. Hart Western Hell's Hinges, which rules. We are going to talk about Hospital, not The Hospital, the Paddy Chayefsky film, but Hospital, the Frederick Wiseman documentary. It is not as much of a bummer as Titicut Follies, but it's way more of a bummer than High School, so strap in for that one, folks. We are going to talk about Invasion of the Body Snatchers, one of like the preeminent paranoid sci-fi films. We're going to talk about
the 50s one.
Yes, of the 50s one, to be clear. We are going to talk about the screwball comedy, The Lady Eve. Have you ever wondered what a male dopey version of a bimbo is? Get ready to see Henry Fonda in The Lady Eve. We're going to talk about Louisiana Story. I'm really excited for that one, guys. That's a Flaherty film. It's that's a narrative feature that for a period of time was considered one of the greatest films of all time. It was on the original Sight and Sound poll as one of like the 10 greatest movies ever made, and now no one talks about it. But I think you'll be on board because it's about a boy who befriends a raccoon. We are going to talk about The Manchurian Candidate. Again, the original Manchurian Candidate, which I'm really excited to do. We are going to talk about a movie that I adore. I got Tom to watch, and Tom also adores now. I'm so excited to do this one. We are going to talk about Marty, one of the greats, one of the only movies to win the Palme d'Or and Best Picture, and a movie that when you watch it, you are surprised that either award went to something so tiny and tender and intimate. We are going to talk about Meet Me in St. Louis, the great Vincente Minnelli musical. We're going to talk about Midnight Cowboy. I keep saying cool Best Picture wins, but yes, we're going to talk about Midnight Cowboy, the only X-rated movie to ever win Best Picture. We are going to talk about the experimental Bruce Conner short film, A Movie. We are going to talk about Walt Disney's Pinocchio. We are going to revisit the work of silent film comedian Harold Lloyd on his most iconic film, Safety Last. You guys maybe haven't seen the film, but you know the image of the man hanging from the big clock, so you know Safety Last. We're going to talk about the original Scarface. We're talking Snow White, not the Disney film, the Betty Boop Snow White, which is going to be a really fun one for us all to check out. Nice short film. We might have something cool for that episode in the works. We are going to talk about Taboo, A Story of the South Seas. We're going to talk Taxi Driver, the Martin Scorsese film.
And Mike, please let me. Let me.
And what else are we doing, Tom?
Zapruder, Abraham Zapruder.
We will,
you
in
got
fact,
that shot, baby.
We will be talking about the Zapruder film, and when I tell you guys, we have never talked about it on mic. You will just find out by surprise. Tom, of all people, pitched something insanely ambitious for what we do for the Zapruder film.
Yeah, I do this every now and then, and I always fucking hate myself when the cows come home to roost. So
I will just say I don't want to give it away, but I will just say I remember Tom pitched this, and Kyle's first response was to go, "Tom, are you sure?" So get excited for that, folks. Now, fellas, my question to the two of you.
Yeah.
Of the ones you've seen, of the films that we're covering next season, which are you most excited to do an episode on?
Well, obviously, we're going to exclude the Zapruder film.
Yes.
We just went through that. I'm excited to watch the most unfortunate Kennedy family facial that's ever existed. And there's been a lot. Andrew Dominic made a movie about one. It's a tie for me, mainly because I think these episodes are going to be interesting for personal reasons in different ways. I'm going to say E.T. because I'm genuinely, I don't know if excited is the right word, because I feel like this could end up becoming a fucking knife fight. But just being able to get you to not be you and actually talk about this movie legitimately with and try to actually see the genuine importance of the movie, especially with our guest for that movie, hopefully helping to stem your tides a bit. But Marty, the other one's Marty. That movie became very important to me in God, did I watch it last year, 2 years ago? It was definitely recently, but time means nothing anymore. So it could have been 2 years ago. It could have been last week. I don't know. That's what happens when you drink. But Marty became very important to me. So I really want to talk about that movie with you guys and a guest or not, however we figure that one out. But I'm just going to be just rambling for like 90 minutes, maybe even crying. Who knows?
What if the Marty episode is just, I'm not even there, it's just Tom calling in from a telephone booth for 90 minutes?
We could pull it off. Yeah, don't tempt me. There are ways to make that happen. So.
People just writing in going, why is Tom saying I'm just a butcher? He's not.
I was, though.
You were. Kyle, what about you? Of the ones you've seen, what are you most excited for an episode?
Honestly, I've only seen E.T. and Taxi Driver, so between those two, well, and the Zapruder film, but I can't really say that I'm excited to revisit.
You never
the
saw
Zapruder
Pinocchio?
Film, so.
The Disney
the
Pinocchio?
OG? Oh, I apologize. Sorry, I thought this was a Fleischer Pinocchio.
No,
I guess
Snow White.
I guess Pinocchio. Sure. Then I guess no. It's still going to be Taxi Driver. I think that's one of those films I saw at like an early age. It's like one of those films that your dad's like sit you down and was like, "This is cinema." I don't really remember a whole lot of it at the time.
Even my dad didn't watch Taxi Driver with me. He was like, he said, "I don't like Taxi Driver. I don't like that man. I don't like feeling that movie." And I'm just like, okay,
Come
Jesus.
Here, son. Sit down. Watch this scene where Harvey Keitel tells you all the places you could finish on this child prostitute.
Watch this. Martin Scorsese says he's going to do things to a vagina with a gigantic revolver where some racial epithets may be dropped.
Shout out to my dad. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but one of my favorite memories of him just sort of throwing me into a movie without any real context was when
did he shoot Harvey Keitel?
Bastards. No, if only. It was when we saw Inglourious Bastards, and I asked, "What is this about?" And he said, "Just watch it." And I spent the rest of the movie thinking that these were stories that actually happened until the very end when I went, "Wait a minute, we didn't blow up Hitler in a movie theater." So
I gotta be honest, few times have ever really shown the age gap between us. Because
Yeah.
again, I always forget. We talked about this, in person. All like Tom and I sometimes retcon Kyle into our college experience, and Kyle going, "Yeah, I spent the movie kind of thinking these were things that really happened." I just wanted to go, "We were sophomores in college. You shouldn't have been in college if you thought that." Okay, all right.
What about you?
For me, the
you're
episode I'm most excited to do, I think, I agree with you, Tom. Marty would be an interesting one to talk about because I just think that movie should get more love. But I think for me, I might have to go with the Fleischer Snow White. I think ahead of this past season, we did a special on the Betty Boop musical, and I really got deep in the weeds of Fleischer history and Betty Boop history. I, in fact, got so deep in the weeds of Betty Boop history and Fleischer history that the granddaughter of the creator of Betty Boop reached out to tell me what I got right and wrong. So I got real in the weeds, and that gave me a real appreciation for this film. And I think it's something really special. Tom, let me put it this way. You know why you should be excited for the Fleischer Snow White?
Does Bob Hoskins want to fuck her in it?
No, but you know who is in it, Tom?
Who?
Cab Calloway.
Oh, hell yeah.
There is an entire sequence that's just Cab
Them
Calloway.
watching his home movies?
Well, it's Cab Calloway performing St. James Infirmary Blues while Coco the Clown just morphs into various horrifying images to frighten you. It rules. So that one I'm excited for. And you know what? I'll toss another one in there. Force of Evil. And I'm excited for that one mostly because I think when you look at this list, Force of Evil is the one that I think most people would look at and go, What now? What's that?
Yeah, probably.
What is that? It's a great film. I have no objections to it, but it is one of those ones that's just kind of like, what?
You had to be there.
Yeah. So now, fellas, of the ones you haven't seen, which really, based on what Kyle just said, opens up a real window for you. Of the ones you haven't seen, which one are you most intrigued by?
Well, I've seen 15, so that leaves 10 for me, but I'm going to say there's two that I'm most intrigued by. Hell's Hinges, because I'm a big Western boy. I like me some cowboys. I like me some horses. I like when you put a cowboy on a horse, and then I like when that guy starts shooting people while he's on that horse. But also I'm going to say Hospital, Frederick Wiseman. As much as I like to try to watch a variety of things in my personal life, this is really the only time I'm ever going to really have a drive to watch Wiseman stuff. And I like Wiseman stuff, but it's not the most invigorating thing at 1 p.m. when you work from home and it becomes very easy for you to fall asleep on the couch. And that's when you're watching, Michael Myers carving people up. And it's like, oh, yeah, fucking get... I think I need a little push to watch Wiseman stuff. So, I think those two are the ones for me.
For me, it's definitely going to be between Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Manchurian Candidate. Unless there's a wild card pick that you want to recommend for me this year, like a la Dog Star Man.
Well, I mean, you in particular are gonna love Manchurian Candidate. You are absolutely gonna fuck with that one. If I had to pick one of these to kind of be like, check this out even before we do the season or anything like that, I would sincerely say check out The Apartment.
Okay.
I think you would really enjoy The Apartment. That is, I'm going to say this. I think you would enjoy The Apartment for two reasons. One, it's a really great film. I actually showed it to Bella, my fiance, this year on New Year's. We watched it together, and she immediately loved it. But I'll say, Kyle, I think you would enjoy it both because it's a great film and also because I've got to say it, Shirley MacLaine in that movie really feels like a real Kyle type.
Oh,
yeah. You may come away from The Apartment talking about Shirley MacLaine the way Tom talks about Leslie Caron. I think you'll lock in on that one.
And I'll throw two out there for you, boy. I'll say Freaks. And
I love Freaks. You know me.
Well, I mean, that's all I exclusively date. And Marty. Honestly, I think I do think you would you would fuck with Marty, especially because, like Mike said, it's such a small movie that for it to have such an incredible place in film history, to be in the National Film Registry this early, all of that stuff. And when you watch it, it has that feeling you get when you watch like Twilight Zone episodes where you go, huh, this could have been made last week. If they just like stylistically chose to shoot it in black and white, you'd be like, this could have just happened a week ago. Much like our episode on Sweet Smell of Success.
I want to, before we go, I want to make sure I thank all the people. You know, every year we say thank you for listening, thank you for checking it out, but you know, we don't think about it. This was such a cool year for us.
Yeah.
You know, we got to talk to the congressman who created the National Film Registry.
Oh, right.
And we got to not just talk to him about the National Film Registry, we got to like shoot the shit about horror movies and stuff. And with Robert Mrazek, who I still correspond with from time to time. He's you know, a terrific guy, and I'm just so glad we got to meet him through this. We got to do some cool specials. I got to interview people. We got to preview a Broadway show. A lot of cool opportunities came our way. We got to hear from a lot of people. And I want to thank folks for the support for that and getting us through this year. I also want to just, and I think I don't want to speak for all of us, but I think I speak for all of us, and I say, we really appreciate your patience this year. Life threw us all, without getting in the weeds, you know, ups and downs, but like life threw us all curveballs this year. And it was very cool, not only how many people didn't drop off and give up. It would have been really easy to do that. It would have been very easy for people to just kind of go, all right, this is done, and walk away. And not only did that not happen, not only did we still see numbers grow, not only did we still have people show up in these live stream chats and talk to us there, but we had people, you know, kind of who like the show, who don't know us personally, who don't know us outside of the show, reach out to see if things were okay and show genuine personal concern for all of us. And, you know, sure, some people call that parasocial relationships, but I call it cool and kind of affirming. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'll leave it to you guys if you want to say anything to that, but I just think it's worth acknowledging. Like, it's very cool people stuck around and had patience for us this year.
Yeah, it's on one hand it's cool. On the other hand, absolutely no respect for people that listen to us. So maybe you know, it's April, so maybe New Year's resolution is a little too late, but you know, maybe in the year 2026, do better, guys. Find some personal growth. Do a crossword puzzle. Take a walk. Go to the beach.
I will.
Right up on the
guess
Strait of Hormuz.
Correct, which has remained open. It never closed
nope.
down. By the time that we dropped this, it
much like all the girls
down,
I date, they're wide open.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
Kyle.
Oh boy.
You have thoughts, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, again, thank you again to this community that we've built. You know, I still think about how, you know, this was started as just an idea during lockdown when we had all the time in the world and didn't necessarily know what was on the other side of things. And here we are 6 years later. People are continuing to find the show. People are continuing to talk about it. Y'all are very responsive with the way that we have tried new things. So thank you, because we do love this main show, but we are also trying to find ways to bring new people into the community without alienating the people that have been here from the beginning and are here because we are the National Film Registry people. Which also shout out to the random person on Reddit who like name dropped us in a post, and it felt very weird to like wake up in the middle of the morning and they're like, actually, here's my defense of the hours, and then I'm like reading through it, and then during the third paragraph, I'm like, yeah, I like the "you're missing out" guys, and I'm like, yeah, of course the "you're missing." Wait, that guy's talking about us,
yeah.
So if you happen to be watching random Reddit user, thank you for making me feel important for about 15 seconds when I started my day on a random Sunday. very wild. But it's reasons like that that we'll continue to do this, continue to find ways to make this engaging. As Tom has alluded, maybe we won't have guests all the time so that we can be in your ear holes sooner, but we will still continue to be here and do the things that you know and love. So thanks again, and here's to season 6, and here's to Mike, who the next time that you hear him will no longer be a bachelor on the show. So
I mean,
far.
shit, most like. Well, no, actually, I'm dropping something off with Kyle on Sunday. I was going to say the next time I see both of y'all's faces is the wedding, but I guess yeah. But yeah, no, it's crazy.
Hell of a ride.
It's been wild. We look forward to doing more. We haven't sat down and started planning the next season yet. We're probably gonna start that up once I get back from the old honeymoon and get that ball rolling. But this is not a series finale; it's just a season finale. We're so glad you guys joined us for it, and we cannot wait to see you guys again. So thanks, and we will see you next time.
See you later, dumbasses.
Bye-bye.